Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sport, and today we're going to be doing our Rainbow Cup Round 5 Team of the Week. A very interesting round in the Rainbow Cup, and if you want to see what the ramifications are in terms of where the log is standing and how this is all sort of shaping up ahead of the final weekend, then go and check out our Rainbow Cup SA review, which is up on the channel we put up yesterday. Tonight we will be live for our first ever live news show. It is going to be a new feature on the channel. We're going to be trying to go live at least 2 to 3 times a week. Basically going to be doing a wrap-up of some of the major sort of rugby news from around the world, and a live show, so a nice chance to sort of interact with people where it's not always focused on a game specifically. So, something a bit more general, people can just have a very general discussion. So make sure you subscribe to the channel right now. Smash a like on the video as well, so that you get a notification on when we go live. But yeah, in terms of this, it's always difficult picking a team of the week, and this weekend was particularly difficult because I thought there were some very, very good performances across both games. Stormers were very good against the Bulls. I think quite hard done by losing right at the end. A lot of people debating whether it should have been a try right at the end in terms of Ruben Akir. Some people are saying he was part of the ruck and shouldn't have been allowed to stand. But regardless, it was a very, very good performance from the Stormers against a full-strength Bull side. So I thought that, Dave Muni going off was obviously a big injury, but I thought that the Stormers finally looked like a side that was sort of worthy of the sort of talent that they possess. And I thought some very big standout performance from a couple of players, and they do make up the bulk of our squad. Sharks also very impressive, especially when you consider that they made all those changes, and yet, despite having I think about 10 new players in the starting line, had more than enough power to get past a Lions side which didn't really pitch up. I think only one Lions player gets into the 15 today, and a couple of very big decisions, a couple of pretty harsh calls, I think. To be fair, I think some players are quite hard done by not featuring in the side itself, but we're going to go through the team and sort of talk about why each player either did or did not make it. So in terms of the team, this is what we have gone with. As I said, it was a very difficult choice. First up, Steven Kitsoff. Could have gone Oxenchair, who I thought brought a lot of power onto the field when he came on, but I thought that Steven Kitsoff was giving Trayvon Yukani quite a hard time in the scrums, and that's always a very impressive feat in itself. Alongside that, he won 3 turnovers, making 11 tackles as well. Also carried the ball up 4 times, so it was pretty. He's always so consistent for the Stormers, so he gets in there number 1. Kieran van Vuuren edges Johan Grobbelaar, both hookers scoring a brace of tries. Grobbelaar made 14 tackles, 14 carries as well, as making 5 tackles, missing 2, and winning 2 turnovers. But I thought Kieran van Vuuren, he was one of the players who I thought really took his opportunity with both hands. He made 8 out of 8 tackles, didn't miss a single tackle. They had a 100% line-out success rate throughout the entire match. He did not miss a single line-out. He carried the ball up 7 times, scored his 2 tries. I thought he was very impressive. And I think between him and Fez and Barter, maybe the Sharks don't maybe need a hooker. I think I was in a position that a lot of people are saying need to be strengthened. But if Kieran van Vuuren can play like that all the time, I think that they'll argue they'll be okay. Thomas Latoya joins Kieran van Vuuren in that front row. I thought Steve Satoli and him were going to be a very, very good battle. And I thought that Thomas Latoya stood very, very well. Didn't carry the ball too many times, just 3 carries there, but defensively was very solid, making 7 tackles. He also won 2 turnovers, some very big turnovers. He was very good on the ground, was Thomas Latoya. And that's why he probably edges, for me, probably Trayvon Yukani. I thought that when he came on, he was pretty good. Despite Steven Kitsoff sometimes getting the best of him, it was a very nice scrum battle. Trayvon Yukani did have a very big scrum towards the end of the game, which won them the penalty that actually got them towards the try line where they eventually scored. And so I think that if you're looking at tight heads, I think Trayvon Yukani and Frans Malherbe will definitely be the 2 in the Springbok 23. In terms of the locks, quite a big call. I left out Marvin Orie, who did make a whopping, I think it was like 33 tackles or something stupid. So it sounds very, very harsh, but I thought Marvin Orie was one of the key players in a massive defensive effort across the entire team. Whereas I thought Ruben Schoeman was one of the few Lions players who actually really did pitch up. I thought that, Stormers' defense was very impressive, but I thought Ruben Schoeman had a much better all-round game. First of all, he was made the second most tackles for the Lions, making 15 tackles. I thought he also made quite a few big carries, carried the ball up, 10 times. And arguably scored a try. They weren't quite sure it was between him and Lemmerse. There was still a little confusion about that, but he should have had a try. Had a very big hit against Yapenkle, and for all I've never been a particularly big Ruben Schoeman fan because he's made quite a lot of errors. It's the second time in the week that in a row that he's actually making the side, and I think he deserves it. I think that he's becoming a very important part of that Lions side. And in a side which was struggling and got better in the second half, I thought he was a standout for the side and really stood up, especially when Vincent Tuka went off. Ruan Nokia scored the winning try for the Bulls. He gets in the team as well. Also his second week in a row. Missed a single tackle, making 7 of his tackles. Carried the ball up 13 times, making 45 meters, beating 1 defender, 1 clean break, and an offload as well. Scoring the match-winning try. Was very good at lineouts, as he always is. So, I mean, how can you not put him in there? Equally, how can you not put in his Marcel Coetzee? What an unbelievable game from him. I mean, he hasn't played in months, and yet he came on the field. I think he made 24 carries, making 41 meters, beat a defender, 100% tackle success rate, scored a try. He was absolutely everywhere, and I think that if he had put in that performance 2 weeks ago, he would have been in the box squad. You know, if he had put in 2 of these performances before the box squad was announced, he would have been there. And I think that he still probably is the number 1 player if loose forward gets injured. Even if he gets a lot gets injured, I think we could see him come into the squad. Because for me, I would have him as a replacement for Dwayne Vermeulen, the number 8, if Vermeulen is ruled out of the tour. Obviously, there's Renan Alstad. Obviously, there's Jasper Wiese. You've got Dan Dupree as well. But I think that Marcel Coetzee will be a huge addition to that box squad. He looked absolutely brilliant this weekend. A bit of a controversial pick. I've gone with Henko Venter ahead of P-Steph du Toit, who was also an absolute menace on defense. I think he made 26 tackles. But he also missed 6 tackles and didn't do that much on the attack. I think he had about 2 carries at P-Steph du Toit the entire match. Henko Venter was leading a Shark side with a lot of fringe players, and I thought that he stood head and shoulders above all of them. He made a total of 12 carries, making up 17 meters. He also made 15 tackles and didn't miss a single one, also winning 2 turnovers. So for me, that was I thought he was just head and shoulders above the rest. I thought he was very, very good. He led from the front. As I said, he had such a good all-round game. He was good at the breakdown. He was good with ball in hand. He was good on the defense. You just couldn't fault a single part of his game. And I think he's making a big statement that he will not be left out, despite Diaklis and Sikamoze and you know, Pepsi Buthelezi coming through. You've got James Venter as well. Henko Venter continues to sit there saying, it's great, but you're going to work them around me because I'm not going to be dropped. And then number 8, the ever-impressive Ivan Ruas, who is maybe sort of showing them that they don't they obviously want Jean de Augustus, but maybe say that they might not miss him as much. You know, made 5 carries, was pretty good on the defense as well, making 20 tackles, also on 4 turnovers on the ground. So, you know, Augustus obviously being a massive loss, but Evan Ruas saying, well, you know what, I can fill the shoes, and he looked very, very good, very impressed, just 21 years old, so still a lot of years ahead of him, as usual. South Africa just spewing out loose forwards absolutely everywhere. Number 9, this was Lekanyo's pick, actually. He went with Godlin Masimla. Jaden Hendricks was also pretty good, but said that when Herschel Yankees came off the field, Godlin Masimla came on and was very impressive. He made 9 out of 9 tackles as well on defense, so, you know, can't really ask for too much more there. But operated the game very well, was quite instrumental in getting that Stormers backline going forward. Played very well, and I paired him with Tim Swiel, who was probably the standout number 10. I also thought Jordan Hendrickson had a very good game for the Lions. I think that he could actually be, him and Monesera probably vying for the player, the team of the tournament, number 10. Another very impressive performance from the Lions. Fly half, who I think made like another 10 tackles. I mean, his defense is one of the best in the backline. Also won a turnover. He was everywhere this weekend, but Tim Swiel was the fly half the Stormers have been missing for a while this weekend. I mean, he's sometimes been that fly half they've been missing, but this weekend we saw what he can actually do. You know, carried the ball up quite well, made quite a few line breaks, a couple of carries there. He just operated the team and the backline very well. In terms of the wings, it couldn't have been anybody else besides Makazole Mapimpi and Edwil van der Merwe. Mapimpi getting a try on his return. He made 3 tackles, 1 a turnover as well, running 61 meters across his 9 carries, beating, I think it was 12 defenders or something stupid. 3 or 4 clean breaks. I mean, he looked like a class above the rest. You can kind of see when you sort of say how much of a difference is there between like an international world-class wing and a normal wing. Watch Makazole Mapimpi this weekend, because that's the difference. But Edwil van der Merwe also got another 2 tries, and looks like he is on his way to Johannesburg very soon. He will be joining the Lions from all reports, which is an absolute blockbuster signing by the side of the North. And as a Lions fan, it's about time he made a signing like that. You know, the first time you can get really excited about a signing, the fact that, you know, he didn't think he was going to get to game time at the Stormers, I can kind of understand that thinking, because they've got a lot of depth there. But it's a huge coup for the Lions to be able to bring him up. For the centers, I go with Cornel Hendricks and Werner Koch. Cornel Hendricks, I mean, I just don't change every single time it comes to the week and I have to edit the team of the week. He just stays there every week. You know, 10 carries, 25 meters, 3 defenders beaten. On the defense, he was characteristically very, very solid. Rusty Erasmus basically said he would, if there weren't off the ball issues, a bit of a litigation case with SA Rugby, he would have been in the box squad. He said that it's obvious that there have to be other non-rugby reasons for the reasons he's there, because if you're picking on purely rugby reasons, he would be in that Springbok squad. And this weekend, once again, I think he's probably going to be one of the contenders for player of the tournament, just because he's just in there week in, week out. Bernard Cock in his first game in outside centre, we've been calling to see him in the centre because I think that he's a bit too slow on the wing, but also just doesn't manage to get involved. But that first 20 minutes, he was the best player on the field by a country mile. He was winning turnovers. He was making some brilliant tackles. He made 12 tackles. Won some very important sort of turnovers where he was slowing the ball down. He was absolutely everywhere, an absolute menace. He's just such a hard worker. Everything he does is just full of energy. He tackles and gets on. He rolls off. He's ready for the next one. When he's on the attack, he's very bright. He always looks to try and either bring players in, or he wants to try and draw in two defenders. He's a very busy character when he plays. And then Damien Willemse rounds off the team at number 15. A much better game from him. And I thought that him and Tim Sweel dovetailed each other very nicely, in the way that Willemse sometimes came into first receiver, looked a lot better, looked much more sort of the talent that we keep wanting to see from him. I think a lot of the times he gets judged because he doesn't live up to the standards, because we kind of expecting him to be, a world beater. We're looking at him and thinking he's going to be one of the best players in the world. And when he doesn't necessarily put in that performance every week, we start saying, well, maybe he's not very good. And the problem is, I think the truth lies somewhere in between, where week in, week out, he's been very impressive and very solid, but he hasn't always been a standout. But this weekend, he was a standout. I thought he was very good. And that's the sort of player we need as a utility back in the Springboks. So that's the team that we've gone with. I thought Anthony Folming's probably a little bit unlucky to miss out. I think Marnie Liebach, I thought, was pretty good on for the Sharks as well. And arguably better than Kerwin Bosch has been. But Anthony Folming scoring a nice try as well when he came on. He was full of running, carried like 11 carries, I think, about 34 meters. There was definitely a marked difference in the Sharks not necessarily going to the boot as much and being more willing to carry the ball to the line, or a couple of chip kicks, even the kicks when they did do it, we saw a couple more, chips over the top, or grabbers in behind, or contestable grabbers, as opposed to just Kerwin Bosch's usual up and under. Which we become quite accustomed to seeing. So it was quite interesting. But that's my team of the week. As I said, some very controversial ones. Marvin Orie probably could have been in there. PC at the Toy could have been in there. A couple of players as well. So let me know what you think. Which players would you have had in the team? Down in the comments below. Smash a like on the video. Do subscribe to the channel. I'll see you every tonight for the first ever Rugby News live show. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Steven, and I'll chat to you soon.